At this point, it may be tempting to treat the history of the family office as an interesting backdrop, informative but distant from your immediate concerns. That would be a mistake. History matters because it reveals patterns. Family offices did not emerge by accident, nor did they arise from theory alone. They evolved repeatedly across different families and eras in response to the same pressures you are likely experiencing today: growing complexity, fragmented advice, overlapping roles, and the need for continuity beyond individual leadership. When you understand these patterns, your own situation becomes clearer. You begin to recognize that the challenges you face are not unique, personal failures or signs that something has gone wrong. They are predictable stages in the life cycle of family enterprise. History reframes your experience from anomaly to inevitability. Instead of reacting to problems as isolated events, you can evaluate them as signals, indicators that existing structures may no longer match current reality. You gain the ability to distinguish between issues that require tactical fixes and those that demand structural redesign. Most importantly, history places you within a continuum. You are not starting from zero. You are inheriting lessons, both successful and costly, learned by families who navigated similar transitions before you. The family office is not an invention you must perfect. It is a framework you must adapt. This segment is not about memorizing dates or models. It is about developing perspective. Perspective allows you to act deliberately rather than defensively, and to design systems intentionally rather than by default. In the scenes that follow, we will bring this history forward, translating it into principles that can guide your own decisions, regardless of your family's size, structure, or stage of development. One of the most important insights history provides is this: families do not encounter complexity all at once. Complexity accumulates in stages, and each stage introduces predictable challenges. The difficulty arises when families attempt to solve new problems using structures designed for an earlier phase. Recognizing your family's current stage of complexity is therefore essential. Early-stage families often experience complexity as inconvenience. Tasks take longer, information feels scattered, advisors occasionally disagree. These signals are easy to dismiss because the system still functions, albeit inefficiently. As complexity increases, inconvenience becomes friction, decisions slow, accountability blurs, family members become uncertain about roles and authority, advisors require more coordination, yet no one owns that responsibility. At this stage, problems are no longer isolated, they are systemic. In later stages, unmanaged complexity becomes risk. Critical knowledge resides in individuals rather than systems. Transitions such as illness, succession, or liquidity events expose structural weaknesses. What once felt manageable now threatens continuity. The mistake many families make is misdiagnosis. They treat structural problems as personal ones. They assume better communication, stronger personalities, or more effort will resolve issues that actually require redesign. The family office provides a framework for aligning structure with reality. It allows families to assess where they are, not in terms of wealth, but in terms of complexity, interdependence, and longevity. When structure matches stage, decision-making regains clarity and confidence. This course will help you identify these stages honestly, not to label your family, but to equip you with the perspective necessary to choose appropriate responses. The goal is not to advance prematurely, nor to resist evolution, but to design systems that fit your current reality while preparing for what lies ahead. Families rarely wake up one morning and decide they need a family office. More often, the need reveals itself through a series of recurring signals, subtle at first, then increasingly difficult to ignore. One common signal is repetition. The same issues surface again and again without lasting resolution. Tax questions resurface each year. Entity structures are revisited repeatedly. Decisions are reopened because prior reasoning was never documented or shared. Progress occurs, but it fails to accumulate. Another signal is decision fatigue. Choices that once felt straightforward now feel burdensome. Decisions take longer, require more consultation, and generate more uncertainty. Family members sense that the issue is not a lack of information, but a lack of integration. No clear framework for reconciling competing considerations. Unclear responsibility is another indicator. Important tasks fall between roles. Family members assume someone else is handling an issue, only to discover later that no one was. Advisors provide guidance within their domains, but no one coordinates the whole. Accountability becomes diffuse. Transitions often amplify these signals. Illness, succession, business sales, or generational involvement expose weaknesses that were previously manageable. What once worked informally begins to break down under pressure. These signals are not signs of mismanagement or failure. They are indicators of growth. They suggest that existing structures no longer match current complexity. The family office responds to these signals not by adding effort, but by redesigning the system through which effort is applied. Recognizing these signals early allows families to act deliberately rather than reactively. It shifts the conversation from what went wrong to what has changed, a far more productive starting point for long-term stewardship. Recognizing the signals of complexity is only the first step. The more important question is how to respond. This course is designed to help you move from awareness to action, not through prescriptions, but through disciplined thinking and structured design. Throughout this program, you will be introduced to frameworks that allow you to evaluate complexity without being overwhelmed by it. You will learn how governance, advisory coordination, reporting, and decision authority fit together as parts of a system rather than as isolated functions. These frameworks provide orientation. They help you understand where to focus attention and how to sequence decisions. You will also learn how to distinguish between tactical fixes and structural solutions. Not every problem requires a redesign. Not every redesign requires immediacy. This course emphasizes judgment, knowing when to act, when to pause, and when to seek deeper alignment before moving forward. Importantly, This course will not tell you what your family office should look like. Instead, it equips you to design a family office that fits your family's values, stage, and complexity. It respects the reality that no two families are the same, and that effective stewardship requires customization grounded in principle rather than imitation. As you progress, you will be encouraged to reflect on your own systems, formal and informal, and to assess how well they serve your long-term objectives. You will begin to see opportunities not simply to fix what is broken, but to strengthen what already works. By the end of this course, you should feel better equipped to engage advisors, evaluate options, and make decisions with confidence. Not because complexity has disappeared, but because you have learned how to govern it intentionally.